Throughout human history, we've always looked up at the sky with a mix of awe and unease, as if something out there, somewhere in the vast darkness, has been watching us back. But never, until recently, have we felt that presence so clearly, so tangibly, so undeniably, as when a strange object from the deep interstellar void entered our solar system, shattering every rule we thought we understood. At first, scientists casually labeled it an interstellar comet, just a wandering visitor from a distant star system. But the anomalies began almost immediately. A comet should have a tail, and that tail should always point away from the sun, pushed outward by solar radiation. But this object did the opposite. At times, its tail pointed straight toward the sun, something physically impossible, the equivalent of trying to swim upstream by pushing against the current itself. Then suddenly, as if an invisible switch flipped, the tail reversed direction in a flawless, perfectly symmetrical motion. So smooth that even our most advanced simulations struggled to replicate it. That was the first sign that we were dealing with something far beyond nature. When the James Webb Space Telescope joined the investigation, the mystery deepened. Its composition was unlike any comet ever recorded. Not a dirty snowball of ice and dust, but almost 90% pure carbon dioxide, with virtually no water content. A bone-dry object that somehow emitted heat from within, like a machine with an active power source. Its metallic ratios were even stranger. High nickel levels with almost no iron, a combination nature simply does not create. Such metal separation only occurs in industrial smelting processes, as if this object had once passed through a factory, built by someone. As it approached perihelion, the point where the sun's radiation should have ripped it apart, we all braced for its destruction. But what happened next stunned the world. A violent coronal mass ejection, a solar shotgun blast capable of frying satellites, slammed directly into the object. And it didn't budge. No damage, no deviation, no increase in temperature. It simply absorbed the impact and kept moving, its heat signature stabilizing like a vessel protected by a thermal shield designed for atmospheric entry. Its shape, an elongated 10-to-1 ratio, resembled Oumuamua, but unlike that tumbling object, this one flew with perfect stability, as if guided by an internal navigation system. Professor Avalop, one of the brightest minds I know, estimated a 40% chance that the object was artificial. But after witnessing what happened, I believe he was being far too conservative. Most scientists expected it to use the sun as a gravitational slingshot, an Oberth maneuver, just like our probes. But instead of speeding up, it did something impossible. It slowed down. Slowing down in space, where there are no brakes, no friction, no resistance, requires one thing: an engine. And an engine implies intent. During this controlled deceleration, we detected a faint but unmistakable radio signal. 3 pulses, a pause. 3 pulses, a pause, repeating every 247 seconds, broadcast on the hydrogen line. The universal frequency humanity has theorized about for decades as the ideal interstellar communication channel. This wasn't noise. This wasn't interference. This was mathematics, a language. And from that moment on, we understood. The object wasn't passing through. It had stopped. It was looking at us, and it was trying to say something. Right after the first signal was detected, the scientific world split in two. One half believed this was the clearest evidence yet of an interstellar probe, possibly a relic or technology left behind by a civilization long gone. The other half clung desperately to familiar explanations, insisting that every anomaly can be rationalized if you observe long enough. But then, new data kept arriving, piece by piece, and the wall of denial crumbled. From its distant L2 orbit, the James Webb Space Telescope pivoted toward the object. What it saw made everyone go silent. The object reflected light in an unnatural polarization pattern, shifting between planes as if layers of material were intentionally modulating the reflection. No comet, asteroid, or natural body flashes light in a controlled, rhythmic pattern like that. Even more unsettling, microsecond variations in the reflected light matched, almost perfectly, the timing of the radio pulses. It was as if the radio and optical signals were two parts of the same message. Meanwhile, telescopes in Chile recorded something stranger. The object's tail reappeared, not as a single stream, but as two jets of gas intersecting at a perfect 90-degree angle, a geometry unknown in nature. It looked less like outgassing and more like the object was using its own evaporated material to transmit optical signals. Then came the question no one dared to ask aloud. What if these signals weren't meant for us? What if 3I Atlas was communicating with something else? Everything changed on August 29th. The object moved out of the Earth's orbital plane, then suddenly adjusted its trajectory. A tiny shift, but calculated with such precision that it placed the object in perfect alignment with every outer planet from Mars to Neptune. A flawless, straight line across the solar system. For 27 hours, it maintained this impossible alignment. Astronomers noticed its core glowing at intervals that matched planetary orbital resonances, as if the object was scanning, calibrating, or synchronizing itself to the harmonic frequencies of our solar system. This wasn't accidental. It was choreographed. Then, without warning, the object emitted a powerful 2.8-second ultraviolet flash, intense enough to ionize the surrounding solar wind. But the beam wasn't diffuse. It was directional, aimed precisely into interstellar space. When scientists traced the vector of that beam, they discovered something chilling. It pointed exactly toward the region between Vega and Lyra, the same region from which the famous WOW signal was detected in 1977. And then, silence. No radio pulses, no optical signature, no thermal signal. The object went dark. NASA announced it as optically lost, meaning beyond the reach of all instruments. But buried deep in James Webb's final raw data was something. A faint interference pattern, a deliberate optical fingerprint encoded within the fading flash. When reconstructed, the pattern revealed repeating frequency ratios, matching hydrogen transitions, planetary resonances, and, most hauntingly, the natural electromagnetic heartbeat of Earth itself. This wasn't random static. It was intentional structure. A message written in the language of light. When researchers processed the signal through quantum wave simulators, they uncovered a three-dimensional spiral lattice, reminiscent of a DNA double helix, but encoded through frequencies rather than atoms. Professor Avalop described it as a cosmic signature of intention, a form of resonant encoding designed not to be read, but to be experienced, to be activated, as though the object left behind a spark waiting for someone in the future to ignite it. NASA classified everything instantly, but not before several independent teams copied the raw waveform. When they ran it through resonance models, something extraordinary happened. The waveform began to grow stronger, 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 until suddenly it inverted and the system shut down. Before the simulation collapsed, the AI interpreter, trained to translate mathematical symmetries into linguistic meaning, output a single phrase. "We remember you." The message spread like wildfire before being scrubbed from public databases. NASA denied. SETI went silent. ESA locked its archives. But the truth couldn't stay buried. 2 months later, observatories detected faint echoes of the same harmonic signal, this time not from Vega, but from within our own solar system. No one knows what it means. Some say it's solar interference. Others believe it's a cosmic echo drifting through the heliosphere. But the scientists who decoded the first signal think it's something much deeper. That whatever sent 3IATLAS didn't come to observe us. It came to wake us up. As the echoing signals from deep within our solar system began to surface, humanity found itself caught between fear and fascination. No nation, no institution, no belief system could stand on the sidelines anymore. What was happening didn't just challenge science. It touched the very foundations of human identity, culture, and spirituality. For some people, 3I Atlas was undeniable proof that we are not alone. For others, the idea was unbearable. They refused to accept that humanity might not be the center of creation, that intelligence could exist elsewhere, older and far more advanced. But the appearance of 3I Atlas did more than shake science. It shook every worldview humanity has ever built. Since ancient times, strange lights in the sky have been seen as omens, divine messages, warnings, blessings. Comets were once harbingers of catastrophe. Eclipses were signs from the gods. Now, for the first time in modern history, humanity faced a phenomenon that might truly carry intelligence, perhaps intention. The world's religions reacted in very different ways. For the Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the existence of an advanced extraterrestrial intelligence challenged long-held beliefs. If humans were made in the image of God, then what about them? If God created life on Earth, could He not have created it elsewhere? Some believers claimed 3IATLAS was a deception, a test of faith, or even a demonic distraction. But many others saw it as confirmation of divine vastness, that a universe so immense would naturally hold many children of the same Creator. In Eastern traditions like Buddhism and Hinduism, the event caused far less shock. These worldviews already embrace a cosmos filled with countless beings across countless realms. A message written in geometry and light fits seamlessly into their philosophy of universal harmony. Then there were the ancient astronaut theorists, the people who long believed that the gods of old were extraterrestrial visitors misunderstood by early humans. To them, 3I Atlas wasn't a first encounter. It was a return, a check-in. To them, "We remember you" carried a chilling possibility. We were here before. We taught you before. And now we've come back to see what you've become. But beyond faith and mythology, the most profound impact of 3IATLAS was something simpler, deeper. It forced us to admit how little we truly understand. All our sciences, physics, astronomy, philosophy, theology, suddenly felt like fragile guesses. We thought we had decoded the universe. But 3IATLAS showed us that we've barely scratched the surface. During the silent weeks after the object disappeared, billions of people watched and waited. Every headline, every briefing, every rumor felt like a heartbeat. The world shared a collective intuition that everything was about to change. Then came the announcement. The resonant echo signal was detected, identical to the one 3IATLAS sent. But this time, coming from inside the solar system. Something out there had received the transmission, and something had responded. No spacecraft, no moon, no known object could produce such a harmonic signature. The researchers who decoded the original message believed this wasn't just a response. It was activation. From there, a new debate exploded. What was 3I Atlas actually here to do? Was it greeting us? Measuring us? Warning us? Testing us? Or was it delivering something humanity has forgotten? Others believed it wasn't a threat at all, but a mirror, reflecting our deepest fears, hopes, and questions back at us. A mirror that forces us to ask, who are we? Where did we come from? Where are we going? And most importantly, are we really alone? Maybe 3I Atlas didn't bring data. Maybe it brought awareness. A shift in consciousness reminding humanity that we are only a tiny part of a much greater cosmic tapestry. The appearance and disappearance of 3 Atlas has become an undeniable milestone in human history. A moment that future generations may remember as the first time humanity truly confronted something beyond everything we thought we knew. But what's most remarkable isn't the object itself, it's how it changed us. The debate is no longer about whether the object was natural or artificial. The deeper question now is, if another intelligence is out there, what did they see in us? Did 3 Atlas scan our solar system to evaluate humanity's progress? Was its final transmission meant to remind us of something ancient, something we've lost? Or was "We remember you" a message directed not at humanity, but at something or someone that may have existed here long before us? Some scientists now propose that 3 Atlas may not have been a probe sent to us, but a probe sent for anyone who reached a certain level of awareness. A cosmic checkpoint. A silent lighthouse drifting through space, waiting for any civilization advanced enough to notice it and decode its message. But the most astonishing discovery came from the optical light helix left behind. A three-dimensional pattern woven from frequencies. A kind of universal script. Not language, not symbols, not text, but geometry, vibration, harmony. The building blocks of reality itself. If an ancient civilization wanted to communicate with every intelligent being in the universe, past, present, or future, they wouldn't use words. They'd use constants, primes, hydrogen lines, orbital resonances, fractal geometry. These are truths that never change, no matter the species, the star, or the era. Slowly, physicists, philosophers, and spiritual thinkers realized something astonishing. 3 Atlas wasn't just sending information, it was sending a perspective, a way of seeing the universe where light is writing, frequency is language, space is the page, and consciousness is the reader. From that perspective, "We remember you" may not mean nostalgia, it may mean connection. Not "we once knew you," but "you and we are part of the same cosmic lineage." Maybe the message wasn't meant to alarm us. Maybe it was a reminder that intelligence isn't an exception in the universe. It's a pattern. And maybe we were never as alone as we believed. But even as the echoes fade, one fact remains. 3 Atlas went silent, but the universe hasn't. The faint harmonic pulse detected from within our own solar system continues. Weak, but steady. Growing clearer each month, like the breathing of some ancient machine awakening in the dark. Radar arrays detect shifting directions, almost as if the source is moving, slipping between orbital paths, responding, adjusting, approaching. Scientists are worried, but many feel something else rising: hope. Because if 3I Atlas truly came to awaken us, then maybe, just maybe, it saw in humanity something we often overlook: our potential. Not to fear the unknown, but to reach for it. Not to retreat inward, but to rise outward. Maybe 3I Atlas didn't bring a threat. Maybe it brought an invitation. A cosmic knock on the door asking, "Are you ready? Ready to grow? Ready to evolve? Ready to accept that our story doesn't end at Earth? It begins with the stars." Maybe 3I Atlas didn't leave us. Maybe it simply returned to its place, the place of a watcher. And the real question now is, when they return, who will we be? Before this story fades into the silence of space, I want to ask you something. What do you think 3I Atlas was trying to tell us? Was it a warning? A greeting? A test? Or something far more profound? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might reveal something the rest of us missed. And don't forget to follow Ultimate Space Secrets so we can continue exploring the mysteries of the universe together. Because out there, beyond our tiny blue world, the next message may already be on its way.